Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today, exciting day. This is the potting day for the first Proven Winner Annuals of 2026 here at Creekside Nursery. Yesterday, these sweet little babies arrived from Proven Winners, Pleasant View Gardens in New Hampshire, came all the way down here to North Carolina to their new home for a little bit of time before they head to your garden. So if you missed that video, go back and check it out. That was how the Proven Winners truck pulled up. It's always so exciting to see that truck roll up, and how we kind of deal with them when they first get here, that whole process. So today is kind of part 2 of that. How do we take these Proven Winner Annuals that are liners about the size of my thumb and pot them up so that they turn into these stunning plants that end up in your garden, in your landscape, in your containers, in your hanging baskets, your window boxes, all the above, right? So the first delivery of our Proven Winner Annuals this year, we're really focusing on those plants that love the hot weather. That way we can have these ready for our sweet folks who live in the warmer zones. So if you are one of those people that live in the warmer zones, these are going to be some of the ones that are probably already on their way to you coming this spring. Because obviously, I mean, it's January and we are North Carolina and we are historically warmer than other parts of the country. But like right now, tonight is going to be like 17 degrees. So it's still quite chilly outside. These babies, they like it hot. And so we're bringing them in early, putting them in a smaller greenhouse, cranking up the heat. That way when it's time to ship them to California and Texas and Florida and the deep south, then these roots are going to be super well and established. So you're going to come kind of spend the morning with us as I show you how we take these liners straight out of the nursery trays from Pleasant View Gardens and turn them into those gorgeous plants that are going to be in your gardens. So let me show you what they look like and the whole process. Our team is busy with the preparations of getting them ready. We have not started potting yet because it is a process. So just to kind of recap, this is what a tray looks like when it arrives to us. Y'all are so funny, like on social media, when you see that Pleasant View truck and that Proven Winners, and you're like, man, I wish that was coming to my house. Which, I mean, who doesn't want to see the Proven Winner truck at your house? But these are not ready to go into the garden yet. These are for the grower. So like this is the Luscious Basket Tangelo Lantana. So in this tray, there are 84 of these babies. This is what we call, it is a baby annual, right? So again, about the size of my thumb, and you can see that. So this is not ready to go directly into the landscape. It's not ready to go directly into, you know, your hanging basket and put it outside. We've got to grow these out into those grande size containers. So each tray, roughly, they do come in different sizes, but when you're looking at this tray, so that means if there's 84 in each, that there's 168 plants right here. And so yesterday was definitely going to be like our smallest order that we're going to be getting from Proven Winners, in that it was only just above 3,000 annuals. And so that may sound a lot, but it's not for us. So as a grower, 3,000 is going to be small. We have a lot of our deliveries are going to be 10, 20, 30,000 annuals, and they're going to be arriving on a regular basis. So lots and lots of plants. So what our team is doing is they are prepping them to be planted. So they are taking them from those trays, and as we walk around the potting machine, and somebody was asking, they were like, an update, I know the potting machine wasn't working. Yes, Jerry got it working, so praise the Lord. We're back up and running, because otherwise it would not be good. So it is running. So let me show you what they are doing. Okay, so what we're doing is everybody has a tray, and so like Brittany has got the Luscious Royale Cosmo, and so she is taking them out of the nursery tray from Pleasant View, and so it depends on the plant. So this one, we have little dowel rods. They work perfectly because you can just pop them through the bottom, because of course they have holes, and then so she pops, and then she takes them out of the tray and then puts them into a solid tray. So this is the method that we have currently found that works really well for us. Notice that the tags are in the tray. So she's got make sure that the plants that she has matches the tags that are there. And then on the front side, real quick, we have an index card with the SKU number and the name. So you can see back there where Catherine is, up there on the rack. So once you get everything popped out, then you go ahead and put it on those rolling racks, and it has the SKU number, it has the name of the plant, because you never want to mess up and put the wrong plant with the wrong tag. That would not be good. So right now what we're doing is getting everything popped out. So like Cece's bringing in more lantana, it's probably more of that Cosmo. And so she's gonna take it from this, pop it out. Oh no, this is Pinkberry Blend. Look at me, I was all wrong. I saw pink on the tag and I thought, oh, that's Cosmo, but no, it's not. It is a luscious Pinkberry Blend. And so we're doing these hot weather plants so that they have plenty of time to grow out. See, and those are just like falling out for her. It's fantastic. You gotta be careful because we don't wanna, and see, and then Jerry, he's ruthless, yeah. Everybody's like, daggum, Jerry. But you know, he is the owner and the grower, so if he wants to manhandle him, I guess then that's just fine. Yes, we always say if it gets broken and Jerry's the one to break it, then it's all right. But we don't want to break it. We want Jerry to break it. So, right, honey? Yes. Yes. Yeah. He loves that. All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get all of these plants out and ready to go. All right, my friends, so we are rocking and rolling through this potting procedure. So let me just kind of give you a little overview. So we've got Amber here who is feeding the pots through the machine. And you may go, oh, well, you know, that's the easiest job. No, it's not. Because all of the pots are barcoded because these are annuals for the e-commerce store. So all the e-com inventory always has a barcode on it. So you might hear them talking back and forth. So she is on this side feeding the pots, Brittany's on the other side. So they have to communicate back and forth of Amber's letting Brittany know, okay, well, we're starting a new SKU, because you've got to make sure that the right plants are in the right pots with the right SKU. It may sound like not that big of a deal, but it can be quite a big deal, and it's a huge deal because let's say Barbara from Kansas orders luscious marmalade lantana, and we send it to her, but it's not blooming quite yet, right? It's got buds, but it's not blooming. And then it gets to Barbara and it is pina colada. So Barbara's not going to be happy. She wanted marmalade, not pina colada. So we have to make sure that it's just right. So all of that goes on right here. So each of these trays, they hold 10 annual Proven Winner Grande containers. So every time you see a tray go through, that is 10 annuals going in. So today we're potting up about 3,330, yes, okay, I got the nod, of the annuals. So that is these 2 pallets of the pots. So like you can see example right here. So this is the Sunstar Red Penta, right? And so right now they are getting ready to go. Next will be some of the Scaevola. So it's going in. She's got them all lined up, going in. She has a certain pace that she keeps that is a good pace for the planters. Then you will notice that she has got a collection of pots and trays down here. Those are the extras because there's going to be 84 plants in that tray, right? But remember I told you that they are trays of 10. And so obviously you're gonna have some plants left over, so we have like miscellaneous plants. So that's how she's keeping track of those. And then we'll take care of those at the very end. And then as we come around today, because we have a good crew, we've got 2 planters. So you've got Jerry on one side, he's got his plants on the table, and then you have got Catherine over here, and they are popping them in. Now, these plants, y'all, they're tough, right? So they are some tough plants. So you can see, like, just shoving them in the hole. There is no hole that has been made in the soil, and he just comes in and just jams them in, and then he hands the extras to Catherine. Catherine puts them in that other tray, and then they start over with a new scoop, getting them in. So that transition can be a little challenging sometimes, but just getting them in, popping them in, and just moving on down the road. So once the plants are in, then they come down to Jackson and Debbie. So Jackson is putting tags in on Jerry's side. Debbie's putting tags in on Catherine's side, because the tags can get sticky sometimes, and you've got to get them jammed down into the pot, because if you're not down there far enough, then they will they'll kind of blow in the wind. And of course, all the tags are facing forward. And then Brittany's coming through, popping off the extra soil. We've not gotten the little air blowers on yet, so Brittany and Amber communicating back and forth. So Brittany then comes, shakes off the soil, gives them a little pop, not that big of a deal, pops them, and then stacks them up onto the rolling racks. And so we always work from top to bottom, left to right. That way, when they get rolled up into the greenhouse, then they can go down. And it's not that big of a deal right now as far as like how they get laid out, but we try to keep obviously all of them together. But if you always do it the same method, top to bottom, left to right, everything stays nice and organized. So Brittany's kind of doing the multi-roll, so she's doing this. She's also talking with Amber, and then she's feeding in new plants. I got it, Amber, I'll get it. And then we had a pot collision, so I'm gonna hop off and clean up these pots. All right, so we're back up and going now. We had a little accident with the pots falling over, so we got them. So this is gonna be the last stack of that first pallet, and then Jackson's gonna come around with the pallet jacks. He's gotta find the pallet jacks, and then he will take this last pallet and then bring it up. So it's just a well-oiled machine around here. We're just knocking them out. I think it is, let me see what time it is. It's not even 11 o'clock in the morning, y'all, and we are just rocking and rolling. This is going great. All right, my friends, so basically we are wrapping up the potting, and we are in the fun process of getting all of those miscellaneous annuals put into their pots, because you have those couple little extras, and so we get those put into, like I said, those miscellaneous trays. When they go up to the greenhouse, we will mark them so we will know where they are. But it's lunchtime, so what we're going to do is a break from lunch and then come back and clean everything up, because today is Thursday and we have no more plants left to pot. So no more plants for this week. So we're going to get a nice good clean. That way the greenhouse is neat and tidy. Let's head up to the other greenhouse where all of these annuals are hanging out and getting nice and toasty, and the roots can grow, and then they can pop out all that gorgeous new growth and have lots of flowers for you sweet folks. All right, let's go on in here to greenhouse 1 and see all of those sweet little babies in here. Look at that. So this greenhouse is getting kind of full because, of course, over to the far right, we have the Southern Living Plant Collection shrubs. They are hanging out in here, but we have got all of these annuals that we just potted up. So we have got 3,330 plants that you are looking at. There is a gap right here because even in this greenhouse, we have microclimates. So a microclimate is exactly what it sounds like, a little climate. Because if you can see that great big square box up there, that is the heater. And so when the heat turns on, of course, it shoots out. And the center of the greenhouse is going to be the hottest because that air comes out and comes down. So the center of the greenhouse is the warmest, and then as you might suspect, the two edges are the cooler zones because that is where the curtains are, and in certain places there's like little gaps because of course it doesn't fit perfectly. It's not an airtight seal. I don't know if you can see right there, there is a little gap, and so this is Dicentra that is in front of it, which is actually perfect because we want to keep the Dicentra on the cooler side because it is a super early spring bloomer. So it's still going to have lots of root growth, but it's not going to have a ton of top foliage growth, which is what we do not want on the bleeding hearts right now. So within the greenhouse, you have got microclimates just like your garden at home has microclimates. And that way we can crank up the heat in here, get everything going nice and toasty. The perennials and the shrubs that are over here. So of course we have, these are all Creekside Champions that are to my left, all of these beautiful perennials in here. So both the Creekside Champion perennials and then the shrubs to the other side, once their roots, and the shrubs, they do have really good roots, but pretty soon all of those are going to go outside. It's a great thing about being in North Carolina, we can grow outside. So every year that we do these production videos, people will ask, somebody will always ask, well, why in the world do you not have like tables or benches, and why do you put all these plants on the ground? Like that's, you need to have walking paths, and you need to have, that's really hard on your employees to lay these things down. And in a production greenhouse, remember this is a production greenhouse, not the retail greenhouse. So these areas are literally for production. And when I tell you that every square inch has dollar signs on it, I am not exaggerating. So we pack the plants in here as much as we possibly can, right? Because if you're looking at a tray of 10 annuals, and so let's just make easy math because we're going to keep it simple, sweetie. So you got a tray of 10 annuals, and let's say they're $10 a piece. So each tray is $100. If you put benches in here and you put more, put tables, and you put all these walking paths everywhere, that's literally $100 every place where a tray could go, or more. That's just annuals. We're not even talking about shrubs, right? Because shrubs, of course, are more expensive. So, and then if you go to any of the big greenhouses, the big production houses, so you've been with us when we've been to Spring Meadow, the home of Proven Winner Color Choice Shrubs. We've been to 4-star greenhouses and Pleasant View Gardens, all the home of the Proven Winner annuals. We went to, down to Alabama, and we were with the Southern Living Plant Collection. Nobody in that size grows on tables. One, you've got the cost of the tables,
then, like I said, you're losing space. So it's completely different in a production setting versus like a home gardener or even a retail greenhouse. So there is a method behind what we're doing. I promise you, we're just not willy-nilly doing things. This has come from 20 years of us personally growing and from experience from other growers. So that's the reason why there are no tables. That is why there are only flat on the ground. And yeah, so there you go. Now, if you have seen any of these production videos, you know, come the end of probably even like February into March, I would say probably mid-February, end of February is when the greenhouses are like bursting with plants, because you're in that time period of most of the plants have arrived. We've potted them up, and then it's still a little chilly outside, so certain plants have to stay in the greenhouse. They can't go out. And so when I say we are jamming plants in like nooks and crannies and here and there, that is what we are doing. So, and then of course we still got to do hanging baskets. So that all the hanging baskets will go up here as well. So these greenhouses again will be exploding. Here comes in the last wagon load of those miscellaneous plants. So again, we do these videos so that you can see what it takes to get those plants into your hands and then into your gardens. And so it's a lot of fun. We get a couple of days of rest, a little break from planting, and then we will be back at it. We are just getting started. Like I said, this delivery of annuals is the smallest delivery that we're going to take this year. So the fun has just begun, my friends. As always, we hope you found this fun, informative, inspirational. If you have, we would love it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. Y'all have a fantastic day. Get outside if you can. Get some sunshine on your face. Breathe in some fresh air. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.